There's one stupid woman who works there, though, who, like, this one never get. I've asked for this a bunch of times, and all the time she always thinks that I'm ordering an onion rings and a poutine.
Why?
One onion ring, one poutine? I'm like, no, an onion ring dressed as a poutine. Oh, okay.
Yeah, motherfucker. We're gonna take it up a few notches right now. See if y'all can keep up. Wanna give a motherfucker sucker, put your hand up.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 88 of the ScruffCast. I'm Dan.
I'm John.
And I'm back, bitches.
Yep, well, we gave you the week off last week.
That's right.
We had Ian graciously guest hosted with me.
That's right. I accumulated some vacation time here, and figured I'd use a day.
Yeah, getting those bennies.
That's right. So
the benefits.
But I'm back.
Wouldn't that be awesome if, like, the ScruffCast was big enough we could get, like, insurance policy?
We would need, like, a team of people.
You start going to the dentist.
Oh, my, finally, I know.
That'd be funny.
Can't get benefits in my own damn job. At least I can get them here.
Yeah.
All right. So last week, it was you and Ian. You know what? I listened to it. I did.
Yeah, one of the things I had in the notes here was Dan's back after a week off. I wanted to get any comments you had about the last episode.
I don't really have any comments. I don't know, you guys didn't really talk about a whole lot. Which I guess is what we do all the time here, but...
Yeah, it was kind of nothing.
It was just free-flowing. It was nice. No, Ian was good. No complaints. I appreciate him filling in.
He brings a different vibe.
And you guys talked about how you recorded Tuesday. You didn't do the Monday, right?
Yeah, I was originally going to do no...
but what's funny is, like, I was available Tuesday.
Yeah, but you snooze, you lose.
Just saying. No, I'm kidding. Alrighty.
Well, did you have any comments?
No, not really. I don't. You guys were good.
All right. Well, I mean, they don't have to be negative comments. It could be praise, too. So we're good. I'll take that.
There you go. That was my comment. You guys were good.
Did you have your answers for the top 5 we did last week?
I do. Yeah, you want me to read them out now?
Yes, it was guilty pleasure foods.
Which I wrote in.
Yes, you did.
All right. So my number 5, I'll go with the one I said in the email, which was Taco Bell.
Yeah.
For the reasons I stated there. It's, like, so gross. Like, and I think it was you who told me that in Burlington they don't have Taco Bell because their meat doesn't qualify to, like, the certain grade.
That's what I heard as a kid.
Yeah.
Well, when I was younger. They do have a Taco Bell now, but they didn't have one for, like, quite a few years after I moved there.
Anyway.
It's one of those KFC Taco Bell combos, like, in the mall food court.
But yeah, because, like, you get the chicken quesadilla and the fries supreme. Oh, my God. Out of this world. So gross. So delicious. My number 4... This is a weird one. So Leo has these, like, zesty tomato puffs, and they're like little Cheetos. And dude, I get like dummy a can of these things, man. They're so tasty. So that's my number 4. My number 3 is, you know this one, John. Waffles and peanut butter.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Oh my God.
Then not just any kind of waffles. What kind of waffles?
Eggos. Oh, it's got to be the Eggos. Eggos with the peanut butter. Holy Jesus. Number 2 is the hot dog and the onion ring poutine from Sonny's. And these are like massive portions. And like by the time you're done it, you're just disgusted with yourself. Like it's gross. But yeah, they do like onion rings, but like dressed as a poutine. It's delicious.
I don't know if I've ever seen that anywhere else.
No, I haven't. It's not even on their menu.
Really?
Yeah, it's not on their menu. It was actually, we were at a friend's house one night. And we were just out in his garage having a few beers, and his stepbrother came home. And he has this, like, container of food. He's eating it. And we're just, like, staring at him. And he's like, you guys want one? We're like, oh, what is it? He's like, oh, it's, like, onion ring poutine from Sonny's. We're like, oh, I didn't even know they made that. He's like, yeah, you just asked for it, and they make it. Oh, sweet.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, there's no reason not to. Like, it's just fries, onion rings.
It's the same thing, right? There's one stupid woman who works there, though, who, like... This one never get. I've asked for this a bunch of times, and all the time she always thinks that I'm ordering an onion rings and a poutine.
Why?
One onion ring, one poutine. I'm like, no, an onion ring dressed as a poutine. Oh, okay. Idiot. My number 1, popcorn. Now, I know this is like more of a snack, but like I've literally eaten this as a meal before. Like I've gone to the movie theater about 7 o'clock. I've polished off a bag of popcorn, and that's been my dinner. So that's why I consider it.
Well, when you think about it, like
pleasure.
Quantity-wise, you get a lot of popcorn.
You get I mean, you do.
You pay like the price of a meal somewhere else at the movies for one bag of popcorn.
Yeah, it makes sense. I don't have an honorable mention, so that's it. But yeah, popcorn is definitely my number 1. Can't get enough popcorn. So delicious.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, unlike last week, this week we had a couple listeners email us at scruffcast@gmail.com, just like you guys out there can. The first email says, subject line, "Welcome back, Dan." Welcome back, Dan.
This is awesome. I got to take more time off. People
Yeah.
are like welcoming me back. This is nice.
Hey, team. Hope you guys had a great week. Loved the podcast last week. Having Ian on was a good change. He has such a soothing, soft voice, and it was different than the constant laughter of you and Daniel. Not hating, your laughs are so contagious.
You know, Ian could definitely do like the was it ASMR or whatever? He could definitely do that. He does have like a very like calming voice.
Yeah, or like guided meditation where he's like,
Yeah.
"You're walking through the rainforest,
Yeah, exactly.
and the birds are chirping."
Oh, he could. He should.
could.
He starts on YouTube. Ian, start your own YouTube channel, man.
Yeah, I know you're listening.
Better be.
Yeah, I know he's on the show.
He does one episode. He's like, "See, ya, I'm too good for the show now. I'll only host it."
Not hating, your laughs are so contagious. Update on the intermittent fasting, Daniel?
So far, so good. Took a little, I don't want to say a little break this weekend, but we had some things to do, and so I had to break it the Saturday night, which affected the Sunday morning, technically. But I'm down 10 pounds total.
That's pretty good.
10
How
pounds
many
total
weeks have
since
you
I
been
started,
doing
yeah.
this?
I started like January 21st, 2nd, 3rd, and around there.
So we're only talking like a month.
Yeah, 10 pounds.
Not bad. I got to get on this.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Because relating right next to the next question, how is the wedding planning going, Jonathan? So, yes, I need to slim down.
Yeah,
I don't want to pay all this money to get all these photos taken of me. I'm looking like a beluga whale over there, you know?
that is true.
The wedding planning, it's going. It's a little slow going.
I wouldn't
It's a
say
work in
slow.
progress.
You guys just got engaged like 2 weeks ago.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
Definitely not slow. You guys are doing pretty well. Like, I'm trying to think, like, when we got engaged, I don't think we didn't book our venue till November, so like 2 months later. And we only did that because the place we wanted had like a 2-year wait. So like we
That's
had to
outrageous.
jump on it, right? It was nearly 2 years, so we probably would have waited even longer, but we didn't.
Yeah.
So I think you guys are doing fine.
Oh, that's some nice words of encouragement, Dan.
Yeah, at least you guys are looking, right? Like, so that's something.
All right, the listener goes on to say, my top 5 guilty pleasure foods. Number 5, cookies. I'm constantly baking, and cookies are incredibly easy to make, so I generally make cookies at least once or twice a week. Number 4, not your mom milkshakes. Best milkshake I have had since going vegan.
I don't know what that is.
So it must be like a specific brand.
Right. I've never heard of that before.
But some
I'm
sort of
assuming it's a
vegan-based
vegan milkshake? So
Yeah,
there's no
it must
milk
use-
in it? Or
Well, I must use like almond milk or something like that instead.
so it's not a milkshake then.
Well, I
It's
guess
like a plant shake.
I guess. I don't know
It's
what
like
they use. We'll have to look this up.
Blending up grass.
Number 3, A&W Beyond Burger. A&W is pretty good. I like the Buddy Burger from there.
I like their onion rings.
They do have good
Yeah.
onions. And if you go into the restaurant, they give you it to you in like the little basket that looks like a
Yeah.
deep fried thing.
Yeah, it is cool.
Number 2, donuts. Sorry, it was all capitals.
Yeah.
I love donuts. Beechwood is my top favorite, but unfortunately, they're all the way in Niagara.
It's another one I never heard of.
Never heard of it. It's probably vegan as well.
Oh, true.
Honorable mention, sugary cereals such as Cinnamon Toast Crunch and Reese Puffs.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch is good.
This is a good pick because that is really like just
Yeah.
junk food.
Yeah, it is.
It's just sugar.
I'm not a huge fan of Reese Puffs. Like, the Reese's is my favorite, like, chocolate.
I
But
like
the Reese Puffs are kind of like, yeah, they're okay.
Oh, I like Reese Puffs.
Yeah, they're okay. But, like, they're not... They shouldn't call them Reese Puffs because they don't taste like Reese.
Well,
They got me
no,
all
not
excited
really.
thinking, like, oh, my God, I'm about to have Reese for breakfast.
Well, but they got that, they got that peanut butter taste. They got that chocolate taste. So maybe, it's kind of all together. When I was a kid, I used to be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Love Cocoa Puffs. But what I really loved was Cookie Crisp, which I think I've talked about on the podcast before.
Yeah, Cookie
It's
Crisp.
literally just little chocolate chip cookies.
All my dad would buy was Honey Nut Cheerios. I think
As
my
a
sister
kid, that's
liked
so
them.
boring.
We had Fruit Loops too. I think my sister liked Honey Nut Cheerios.
Dude,
I
Fruit
think that's
Loops
why.
is like the staple cereal. They've been
Yeah,
around
or
forever.
Frosted Flakes. That's
Yeah.
another one. Just been there forever.
Number 1, Vegandale Brewery's pulled pork sandwich with animal style fries. I
Isn't
wonder what
that
they
like-
use in place of the pork.
Animal style fries? Isn't that what you're all fighting against?
That's true, actually. It's a little hypocritical.
It's the only
They call it
thing in
animal
that
style.
whole thing that's not made from an animal. And you're turning it into an animal.
That's true. Yeah, they're potatoes, right? The pork and pulled pork is in like quotes here. Now, one thing I've seen before you can use like in place of pulled pork is like a barbecued jackfruit, which apparently tastes pretty similar.
I actually made pulled pork this past week.
I haven't had pulled pork in many months.
Many a months. We had it at the Super Bowl. Yeah. My sister's boyfriend. Well, shout out to Andrew, even though he doesn't listen to this, because he's a bum.
What a jabron.
But my sister will show him this part at least.
Look, Andrew, they mentioned you. Why don't you listen?
And his pulled pork is pretty fire, as the kids would say.
Is that what the kids say these days?
As far as I know.
We got to tap into those, like, the youth demographic.
I'm telling you, I'm learning a lot. From kids at work.
All right, the listener goes on to say, hope you have an amazing week. Look forward to the new episode. Well, I got good news for you, listener. You're listening to it right now.
That's right. Here it is.
But we had another listener email us, Dan.
All right, here we go.
ScruffCast@gmail.com.
Okay. Subject is top 5. Hello, ScruffCast team. Great episode last week, and shout out to Ian for doing a great job.
Ian getting a lot of praise this week.
Good for you, Ian. Top 5 guilty pleasure foods? Where to start? Everything bad for you is a guilty pleasure. That's pretty accurate. I like that. Number 5, pizza. Goddamn, I love pizza.
Dude, it's just so good.
Number 4, McDonald's hot caramel sundae when the machine works.
That's the key.
Yeah.
The machine never works. I used to work at McDonald's.
Now, I was just about to ask, because I've heard some things that they just don't like doing the ice cream, so they tell you that it's broken when really it's not. What's the inside scoop here, John?
So, this I don't know because I worked back in the kitchen, right? Grilling the burgers and stuff.
Yeah.
But when I used to work there, I remember one time my stepdad picked me up. We were going to McDonald's, like this was the day I didn't work, to get ice cream, right? And we're going through the drive-thru, and he's like, "Oh, can I get not a Blizzard? Can I get a McFlurry and this yada yada?" And the girl goes, "Oh, actually, our ice cream machine's not working." And while she's not even done talking, he's like, "Get it fixed!" And he just drives out of the thing. Well, I'm working there, so I knew who it was.
Right.
But like they didn't know it was me, right?
That's hilarious.
Yeah. She's like, "Oh, it's actually get it fixed," and he's like doing the shake of the fist.
The shake of the fist.
He just drives through the drive-through.
That's hilarious. Number 3, chips. Lay's plain.
Do you like plain chips original?
No. Miss Vicky's original are pretty good.
Yeah, it's a step up from Lay's.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of plain original.
I'm not a big
chips.
fan of Lay's in general. Lay's ketchup chips are pretty good.
The
I feel like there's
ketchup
not many ketchup chips.
I'll eat their
Lay's
barbecue chips. Yeah, the
Yeah,
barbecue
chips
chips
aren't bad.
Ketchup Pringles.
They do. Well, I think they were like a special type
Really?
thing. Yeah. They were okay. They weren't very good. Number 2, wings from Wings Up. I've never had Wings Up.
I have. It's just like a wing franchise.
Right. Good?
They do chicken. Yeah, it is pretty good.
Nice.
It's expensive though. What my stepdad would always do is, I don't know, if you'd complain or something, they'd give you a free appetizer. And the way it worked was, they'd write it in just like this notebook they had.
Yeah.
So he would call and be like, "Oh, and can I get this blah blah appetizer? My name's in the book. Right. So they wouldn't charge it as part of the thing. But like he's called and like argued with them on the phone before. My name's in the book, and they're like, "Oh no, we don't see it here in the book." He's like, "It's in the book."
Hey, your stepdad's always got a way around everything. Like he's got a way around everything.
Dude,
it's so funny.
I remember another story where one of his buddies, they went to McDonald's, and then he went back in and he's like, "What the heck? Forgot my McNuggets. I got a 20 thing of nuggets." Yeah. He's like, "No, sir, you didn't get a nuggets." And he's like, "Where's my nuggets?" and put on a stinky face. Sure enough, he got 20 free nuggets.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
He didn't order any nuggets.
I don't have the balls to do that.
No, me neither.
No. All right, and number 1, speaking of McDonald's, a Big Mac.
Dude, Big Macs are good.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you don't really like burgers.
I
but
do not know. But I've heard good things about them.
But you know what? McDonald's is getting pricey these days. Big Mac combo's like $12.
Yeah.
Might as well just go to Five Guys, pay the extra few dollars, and get a premium burger.
Oh, premium. Honorable mention, Vachon Flakies? Was that supposed to say Passion Flakies?
No.
Are these actual things?
Vachon or Vachon is like, I don't know.
Vachon.
Is the name of the company. You've probably seen these, like Passion Flakies.
That's what I just said, Passion Flakies.
Yeah.
Oh, the company's Vachon?
Well, yeah,
okay, I didn't even know that. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was what I was thinking of. Yeah, those are good.
They're all right.
I remember Brinkus used to go over to your house and eat them all.
Yeah, he used to come over and eat all the snacks, and my parents would get mad.
I swear it wasn't me. It was Brinkus.
Because
we had respect for the snack drawer. Brinkus did not.
I grew up that privileged lifestyle. We had a snack cupboard, which just blew his mind. I have a specific memory of him.
He was Polish. He didn't get no snack cupboard. He had a bushel of apples in the basement he could pick from.
Growing it in the basement in the cold room.
Yeah, he literally had a bushel of apples in there. That's not even a joke. That's real.
I have the specific memory of him over at my house one day. And first off, this guy was crazy. I remember he tried to microwave popcorn with a silver bowl.
Yeah, I remember this.
And the microwave sparked.
Yeah.
It's like, holy shit! We had to turn it off.
Well, what did you think was going to happen?
And then I remember we had this giant box of what are they called? For some reason, the thing coming into my head is Bits and Bites, which is not.
No, that was your alternate podcast.
Like the little snack pack. It has like pretzels, the little weedy.
Oh
things.
yeah.
What are those called?
I don't know, but I know what you're talking about anyway.
Something mix.
Yeah,
snack mix or of some sort. Anyways,
we'll call it snack mix.
It was a big box of little packs of those things, and he was holding the box like in a bear hug and goes out in the living room. He's like, ah! And it's just a little snack mix getting all over the place, and he's excited. I'm like, dude, take it easy. We gotta pick these things up.
He's just ridiculous. He's so funny. We should definitely have him on the podcast.
We should
bring up all these stories.
I think it's actually his birthday today, the day we're recording.
Oh, is it really? I knew it was around this time. I couldn't remember the exact day, but
Facebook reminded me.
Of course. All right. Keep up the great work. P.S. Thinking about doing the intermittent fasting.
Well, I'm hearing your results.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it as well.
That's right. Apparently, because my sister looked into it, and anyone who is for women obviously only, thinking about having children or in their childbearing years, they shouldn't do it. I don't know if it's your childbearing years or if you're trying to have a child, you shouldn't be doing it, kind of thing. You know what I mean?
I guess that makes sense. Because you're
kind
kind
of full of nutrition.
Yeah, I was gonna say, well, not starving yourself, but almost. You're conditioning your body to not, eat as much.
I would recommend it though. I would.
I might have to get on this.
I've been losing weight, which is nice. And like I said, it's just lots of good things about it. And it's not as hard as it seems. It kind of sucks sometimes, but it's not that bad.
But you got this glow about you. I swear, you're a couple inches taller now.
Yeah, I have grown as well. I'm 6'1" now.
Yeah, you used to be what?
5'9" 3/4.
5'9" 3/4.
Now I'm 6'1".
You got that extra quarter.
Yeah, that's right. No, but all seriousness, I find I'm less tired now. Oh, funny enough, because you're not eating breakfast,
Interesting.
right? But I find I have a little more energy. Maybe it's because I'm not bloating myself, right? And just
maybe. Well, think of all the shit you eat, and then you get in bed, and then your body's just digesting it overnight.
I know. But you know what? That's the thing I find too. Is now if me and Anna go and get pizza at McDonald's, whatever it is, right? I find I instantly feel it. Oh, I'm so bloated. I feel it. Whereas before
really?
that was probably just my natural state. Or now I'm oh Jesus, I can really feel it, right?
That's funny.
So yeah, but it's good. Yeah, it's worth trying. It's not for everybody, but it's it's worth a shot, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty tempted to try it actually.
Yeah, it's worth it.
So we also got I put out the call on Instagram at the ScruffCast, which is our Instagram account. You guys can follow us. In our story, I said, recording an episode of the ScruffCast tonight. Email in scruffcast@gmail.com with your top 5 guilty pleasure foods, right? Or your answers to last week's top 5.
Yep.
And someone who I didn't think this person listened. Maybe they don't, but
maybe they just Instagrammed it because they saw it up there.
You do listen, which obviously that's the only way I'll hear this.
Did you post it on yours or on the ScruffCasts?
I posted it on mine, but I mentioned the ScruffCast in it.
Right.
Then the ScruffCast can add it to their own story.
Okay,
the way Instagram works. I'm still new to this stuff.
I wasn't sure if this person followed us or not.
They follow my account.
Okay.
They might follow the ScruffCast. I don't know. But anyways, if you listen, send us an email because I want to know. Because this listener has never emailed in.
Never.
If they are indeed a listener.
But they are a great friend.
They are. So they just responded to the story with their guilty pleasure food, which I responded back with the gif of John Cena sitting in the crowd going, "Ooh."
Okay.
Have you seen that
I'm
gif?
excited. I don't know what this is.
And I said, "A spicy one. I like it." And they said, "It's going to stoke some hate."
Oh,
That's what they said.
Okay.
Buttered toast dipped in ketchup.
Oh, that's odd.
That is a spicy one.
Yeah.
You want to talk about guilty pleasure food? That's a guilty pleasure right there.
I'm good with just the buttered toast.
Oh, dude, I love toast.
Dude,
I love toast. Just toast with just give me a slice of toasted Wonder Bread with butter, dude. I'll eat 4 or 5 slices of toast.
I saw a picture on the internet the other day. It was literally just a piece of toast with butter on it. And someone's just "Yo, this is the perfect toast," and it was. I was like, "Oh my god, that looks delicious!"
Like, why is toast always so good when you go for breakfast?
Oh, I don't know, man.
You know why? Because they cut it diagonally every time.
Yeah, I think it's a diagonal cut. You can't cut sandwich bread in half. Either which way, horizontal or vertically. You can't do it. It's ridiculous.
No.
It can only be
Yeah, that's
diagonal.
really the only way to do it.
Yeah. Okay, anyway, continue.
That was it. That was all I had.
Oh, that was the only one.
They
Okay,
literally
okay,
just
one.
responded, buttered toast dipped in ketchup.
That
And I
is-
said, ooh, that's a spicy one.
That's
I like
different, yeah. Okay.
It. So does that stoke some hate? Listeners, let me know.
let us know.
I love ketchup. On buttered toast, though, I don't know about that.
I don't mind ketchup. I don't love it.
I love
But,
it.
you need it on some things, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Moving on.
Now, we have a couple things in here from last week, which we didn't do because you weren't on the show.
Yeah, I was on fire. I was like, this is the... how often do I add to these notes?
Seldomly.
Yes. But I was
use a
on
nice
goddamn fire.
You were. You have a few things. So, I don't know. Take us through it, Dan. It's your world. We're living in it.
All right, here we go. So first off, I saw something on YouTube the other day that piqued my interest. Not really piqued my interest, but I found it kind of strange. There's ads and commercials and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Now, multiple times, like the ad has been a music video
Really?
for a song, for a band. And it's like the legit full music video. But you can skip it after, the 5 seconds or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But I thought, like, that's so strange. Like,
you know
but also, like, why not?
That's how they get the view counts on those videos so huge.
Oh, yeah, it could be,
Playing
right?
ads. Because if you watch for 5 seconds and skip, it probably counts as a view.
Yeah, it just might, right? And then it gets me, like, it's good exposure for the band. Like, you're probably paying a ton of money to get it as an ad, right?
Yeah, probably.
But you may get some people like, oh, it's a good song, like, and then they listen to them, right?
Because, like, do you ever get sucked into those YouTube ads? Because, like, some companies,
I
they
do,
have
yeah,
the
every once in a
balls
while, yeah.
to put an ad that's, like, 4 minutes and 30 seconds. And
Yeah,
it's like,
oh, you
excuse me?
bastards, this better be good.
But, like, dude, sometimes it's, like, a minute and a half long ad. Like, if they're, it's entertaining in the beginning, I'm like, ooh, where's this going?
Yeah, I'll check it out. Movie trailers, whatever, right? But yeah, it was weird, like a full music video.
Do you remember the song?
Yes, it was Old Dominion. That's the band's name. I think it was One Man Band. That's the name of the song. And like, I'm a fan of Old Dominion. Like they're a band that me and Anna both like. So I don't know if that was like catered to me through YouTube kind of thing.
Probably.
But like, I'm not logged in. I'm not logged into. But still,
it
though,
still
it's still
tracks,
recommended. Yeah. So I don't know if it gives specific music videos to certain people, but just the fact that there's music videos coming through now. And I saw that one time, and I was like, that's weird, so I added it to the notes. And then I saw it again since. Another 1 or 2 times. I was like, whoa, this is
Interesting.
kind of weird, yeah. So that was it, really. I thought that was
Because
kinda
we don't
strange.
have, like back in the day, we had, well, I think here I think it was a Canada only thing, like Much Music.
Yeah.
And then, like, MTV, right?
Yeah.
And, like, music videos, we were just talking about this, actually.
Yeah, we
just
were.
before the podcast earlier tonight. Like, music videos used to be a thing.
But
now it's not really.
The amount of money they poured into music videos,
Yeah.
too, back then. Holy shit. Like, I remember specifically Backstreet's Back by the Backstreet Boys. It was, like, their first song off their, like, second album. And there was, like, a premiere date for this, for Much Music. Okay? And my parents let us stay up to watch this music video. And it was, like, 6-7 minutes long. It was, like, a little story and stuff. And, like, oh, a haunted mansion. They get stuck in this haunted mansion. And then they turn into werewolves and mummies and stuff, right?
That was always the problem with finding those copies of the song, because you'd have to hear the beginning. It always started
Yeah.
with a phone call of some sort.
Exactly,
Hey,
yeah.
So, what's going on?
Yeah,
like, yeah, I'll
because
be
they were
right
like
there.
so extravagant, those
Yeah.
music videos. So it's like the amount of money they used to pump in those music videos back then. They don't do that anymore. I'm surprised. I'm happy music videos still exist.
But you know what? I feel like
I'm surprised they do.
now they have an avenue to come back, because after Much Music and MTV, I mean, like, MTV's still around. Much Music, I have no idea.
They're still there. They don't play music, I don't think. But
And MTV doesn't even really, they don't do music videos anymore.
no,
Now
I
it's like
think
about
Much Music kind of still does. MTV
Now it's like
doesn't.
Jersey Shore
Yeah.
and stuff like that, right? Like totally non-music related
Yeah.
at all. So then, they kind of died off. But then now with YouTube and stuff, they have like a way to come back.
Yeah, they do.
Just sort of like a side story. Makes you think of like, well, Spotify is how most people get their music now. Which you guys can find the ScruffCast on Spotify, actually. Just search for the ScruffCast by Jon and Dan. And there was this band, I can't remember, some Swedish band or something. They wanted to fund a tour, an upcoming tour. And apparently the like payouts on Spotify are like really low for artists. Mm-hmm. But what they did was they made an album of like 10 songs or something, and it was just 30-second long songs, and it was just all silence. And they said, play the album on repeat on your computer when you guys go to bed. Right? So we'll keep getting loops, and then we'll keep getting our little bit of royalties, and
Right.
will help fund our album.
That's
I think
hilarious.
Spotify changed the rules after that.
They must have, yeah.
Below.
That's a smart idea,
Little
though, by
loophole.
them. All right.
Yeah.
Oh, another thing. Did you see the new Roll Up the Rim? The whole new thing about Roll Up the Rim. Now,
No.
we're big Tim Hortons people here. We get it every day
every
before the show.
week.
And normally, Tim Hortons, Roll Up the Rim, would have started by now. And I'm looking at my cup, and it's just red. It's garbage. You know why?
Why?
Roll Up the Rim is going digital.
What?
They will no longer have Roll Up the Rim cups. Now, this was a freaking segment on our show like 2 years ago.
Yes,
we would
did.
roll up the
we
rims.
used to roll up the rim live on the show. You'd do the teeth roll.
Yeah.
I'd do the finger roll. And he had a good streak going. I listened to an older episode, like, I don't know, maybe a month ago or 2 months ago. And we had the roll up the rim segment. I forgot all that.
And they're going digital. So, like, Tim Hortons first off is screwing everything up.
Yeah.
They're like, they lost a ton of money off this loyalty thing and expanded way quicker than they thought it would. So they're redoing that whole thing. Now it's like a point-based system. Certain amount of points can get you this, can get you that. It's like Dave & Buster's.
The current system was every 7 purchases of like a coffee
You
or
get
tea
a
or
coffee,
donut or whatever, you'd get like a free coffee, tea, or donut.
So they're changing that, but then they're also, Roll Up the Rim now is going to be all through their app.
That's so
Right? Yeah, and then apparently odds, they used to be 1 in 6, now they're 1 in 9.
What?
Yeah, and then
Dude,
the total...
I felt like I barely won as it was.
I know. And then the total, like, prizes used to be at, like, $72 million, and now it's down to, like, $36 million for the total prizes. Yeah. Like, they're
butchering this
oh
great
my
Canadian...
God, yeah. Yeah, and people are like, and they're trying to play it off like, oh, you know, we're going green with it.
Oh,
People
yeah,
are like,
right.
you idiots, people are still buying the cup.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what the cup looks like. People are still buying the cup. It's not going to change anything. Like,
Dude,
yeah.
that aggravates me.
They're just trying to, yeah.
Yeah, they're saving money by not putting it on the cups, but then you're not even rolling up the rim. It's stupid.
No, it's the horrible idea. And I think they've changed the date. Now it's like, it's a shorter period of time. I think it starts at the end of February or
Dude,
something
they're just
like
destroying it in every like fashion
that. Yeah. It says,
available.
whoever owns Burger King, right? Bought them?
Yeah, it's like same
They're
corporation.
just ruining
Dude,
everything.
They're just destroying it. The menu's too huge. They have
Well,
like so many
apparently
things.
that's what they're scaling that back. They're like eliminating almost everything from the menu.
They must
Last
have
year
to.
alone, what did I read? They added 42 items to the list. The year before was 28. I think that's what it was.
That's absurd. Dude, if
outrageous.
If your menu has 28 items, that's already too big.
Yeah.
Let alone to add that in 1 year.
It's
If
just
they
like
have everything, like
crazy.
a billion different types of donuts. Get a donut that has a hockey puck printed on it. Get a Nutella pie. Get potato wedges.
I'm not going to Tim Hortons for a poutine, you know?
Yeah.
I'm not going.
They sell burgers
out
now,
of
but it
there,
was like only Beyond Burgers. But
I
it's
think they
like,
had chicken burgers too, did they not?
oh yeah, I think
Yeah.
you're right.
It's just ridiculous. I don't know. It's just
a shame.
it's the great old Canadian pastime, rolling
It
up
is.
the rim, you know?
Old Timmy Ho.
It's the only thing that gets you through February. Like, that's it.
Yeah, it's like this is a crappy time of year. This is like the month where the salt really accumulates on your car.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
And on your shoes, you know?
Yeah, like you need that good old, you
You gotta roll up the rim, yeah. And then by the time roll up the rim's over, oh, geez, look at that, I'm into spring.
Yeah,
Get you through the last portion, but nope, we don't have that now. Doesn't matter.
that's disappointing.
It is. Do you remember? Oh God, it was like in the first 10 episodes.
It was
I think?
one of the first 10. I don't remember the exact number.
We had an episode called "The 1517 to Brussels," which the movie was actually called "The 1517 to Paris."
But we thought it was to Brussels, and we like
Yeah,
made a mistake
I don't know
or whatever
why.
on the thing.
So
We're
anyway,
so witty. We just came up with that.
that's
title.
right. So I finally got around 2 years later to watching this movie. So the movie, for anybody who doesn't know, it's about like the train incident in Europe. A couple of guys from the States, they're in the army, and there's like a terrorist attack on the train. Some guy tried to kill everybody, and they like stopped the terrorist attack from happening. They were heroes, whatever, right?
Yeah, this was a true story.
True story. So Clint Eastwood decided to make a movie about it, and instead of getting actors to play these people, he got the people. He got these guys to play themselves in this movie. I remember, I think we talked about it at the time. We were saying like, "Wow, that's so cool! Like that's
That's probably
awesome."
why we were talking about it.
Which
It was
I
kinda
still
noteworthy.
think it's cool. If it happened to me, oh, you better believe it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'd be playing myself, and I'd like demand more explosions and stuff like that everywhere. But anyway, finally got around to watching the movie, or part of it anyway, because the movie was so bad.
Oh, what
Like-
a shame.
So bad. Now, apparently, the train scene is like actually really good. It's like shot really well and everything. But like, we got through about a half hour of it. So there's like, it starts when they're kids, and it's about 15 minutes. They're kids in the movie, and even the kids acting like they're just. I was like, man, these kids suck.
Like,
you know what I mean?
but like, these are just some guys who in real life obviously did something really heroic. How does their childhoods tie into this?
Well, that's the thing too, right? So they needed to make a whole movie about this, but how do you do that?
Yeah.
Right?
You got to pad it out.
So
somehow.
here's some backstory about them, how they got to where they were, right? Which, in the end, it wasn't necessary. It's like, you could have done maybe like a 20 to 30 minute short film on this, right?
Remember
Like
back in like in the 90s, early 2000s, some movies would come out and they'd be like, 85 minutes long.
well, this one was only an hour and a half long. It wasn't very long.
That's even pretty short for a movie.
I know. It wasn't
Right?
very
But
long.
like, I feel like most
And it
movies
was-
are
it was
like
stretched
at
out.
least an hour and a half nowadays.
But the biggest complaint is just like the acting was just, and I get that these guys aren't actors, like, and it sucks.
Yeah.
But like the one main guy, I don't know if you've seen like these guys before. It's like he's like big dude and like bald. Oh boy, he was bad. Like he was brutal. I'll throw it on for you. Just like I can show you some clips after this. It's pretty rough.
that's disappointing.
Yeah, it's like
Because when I saw you put this in the notes, I was like, oh yeah, I forgot all about that movie.
Yeah, we watched about a half hour, 35 minutes of it, and we had to turn it off. I just like turned to her. I was like, I don't know if I can watch any more of this. She's like, yeah, let's just turn it off because it was that bad. And like the acting was so weird. It's like he was speaking too quick. It's like he had the lines memorized and he was just spitting them out, which
Maybe.
is probably exactly what happened, right?
Yeah.
And then like there's a black guy. He's like part of the friend group. He was like a little better. He was like a little more like fluid with the way he spoke. But the other guy was brutal, man. He's like telling him he's telling his friend, yeah, so I've decided I'm going to join the army. And the guy's like, oh, like, really, man? That's kind of weird. He's just, the way he speaks, he's like, why does everybody not why does everybody think I'm crazy when I say I'm going to join the army? Nobody. Like, it's just like, it's
Like, there's
that.
no
It's like
punctuation.
robotic. Yeah, there's like no punctuation. There's no commas and there's no pausing, right? Like, a normal conversation, it's not like that speedy, right? So, the movie was rough. But like I said, apparently the train scene was really good, so maybe I'll go back and just try to watch that.
Maybe because it's just action, not much
Yeah,
talking.
exactly. So it was rough though, all in all. But whatever.
As an update on movie-related things for me, I've still yet to watch a single one of the James Bond movies. I'm going to build up this back catalog where then I got to watch one a week for the last half of the year.
Yeah.
Because I think there's 26 or 27, so it will be like exactly half of a year.
Okay.
Yeah.
You'll get there.
Yeah, I got to get started on it. The problem is, because I said I'd watch them all, and like the older ones are going to be less exciting to watch. Because
You never know though. Maybe they're gonna be like, "Oh, damn, these are much better than I thought they were gonna be."
Maybe.
You gotta just go with one. Boom.
Yeah,
start with the
'cause
one
once
and
you
then
start,
get rolling.
Then I'll be
man.
like,
Get
oh,
rolling.
not bad.
Yeah. All right. I got another thing on here. I've decided I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm gonna save it for when I'm a little more spiced up. You know,
All right.
when I've had my jalapenos.
What a tease for the listeners.
Yeah, I know. There's something in here, but it's a passionate topic that I think everyone can relate to. But it's not going to be talked about today. Maybe next week.
I
need to have another experience with this thing to kind of spark it. Because this was like 2 weeks ago I wrote this, right? So I've lost that drive now. So
Fair enough.
I think it's time to move on to the top 5.
Well, we said we were going to get like a little downright freaky, right? I went back and listened to the episode where we asked for the listener emails, and thankfully the listeners answered the call. We got like a bunch of emails.
Yes.
And one listener said, because I think it was episode 83 at the time, right? Said, okay, use the next 17 episodes to get up to 100.
Yeah.
And try different things, see what sticks, see what doesn't, and then that will sort of help you shape the podcast of the future. You got to get downright freaky. So we did have an idea for something, but it requires a little more hardware. So
Oh, yeah.
we'll have to get try that new segment out another week. We did try out that segment a couple weeks ago. Last time you were on,
Yeah.
the week before, I hosted with Ian, where we just took the list of 10 shitty things. We whittled it down. What'd you guys think of that? Nobody emailed us.
And nobody
mentioning
complained
it.
about it. I thought it was okay.
Complained, but nobody.
Probably use some work, but I don't know.
But like, what's
It's not
that
bad.
work? We need you guys to. You guys got to write into scruffcast@gmail.com. You want us to get downright freaky. We
Yeah.
need to know, like, what are you looking for?
Next week's episode is going to be a wild adventure, so hold on to your butts.
Because here we go.
Because here we go.
That's like a
Next
blast
week's
from
going to
the
be the
past.
good one. We needed something today that we didn't bring. It was too last minute, so next week we're doing it. It's going to be a hoot.
A hoot and a half, if you guys are lucky.
That's right. All right, we're moving on to the top 5 of the week. And this week's top 5. Top 5 podcasts.
Yeah.
Now, I know everyone out there's number 1 is the ScruffCast, but we want to know what your 2 to 5 is and your honorable mention.
Yeah. Right? I mean, like, you just write in a list of 4 and an honorable mention, because we'll assume we're on there. We won't be offended, because
No.
we're going to know that it's implied.
That's right.
Obviously. All right. Shall we jump into it?
You're kicking it off, right?
Yep, because you did the intro.
That's right.
My number 5, a podcast I just discovered recently, and I've only listened to a couple episodes, but it's the H3 Podcast.
Okay.
Which is just a podcast where they sort of talk about current events and random shit, right? They sort of shoot the shit. And it's by this guy, Ethan Klein, that's his name, and his wife. And they have a YouTube channel they've run for a long time called like H3 Productions. And, it's kind of right up our alley where, they complain about people complaining about backlash and stuff like that and just talk about different current events. Like,
so it's just like a current events podcast.
Yeah, right, but with sort of a comedic flair. Like he was doing a deep dive into the coronavirus. I was talking about like, man, there's some scary shit.
So it's kind of like the ScruffCast.
Yeah, except with millions of listeners.
Okay.
That's the difference.
Gotcha.
So I've only listened to 1 or 2 episodes, but they got Papa John on there.
No way.
Papa John's Pizza. Yeah, did you see all that stuff with Papa John recently? Where he's like, I've had 40 pizzas in the last 30 days.
Yeah.
Dude, did you ever see this thing? It was like, the day of reckoning is coming.
Yes.
Ever seen this thing? And then it's a picture of Papa John, and it's, I guess, like a meme, right? And it says, the day of reckoning is coming, which he did say. And then it shows Google News underneath. It says, Domino's Pizza CFO killed in snorkeling accident. And then it was like some other pizza company, like CEO or executive, and it's like goes to jail over like child like sex charges or something.
No way.
Yeah, and it's like, damn, Papa John wasn't fucking around.
Papa John wasn't messing around
with these Day of Reckoning.
That's hilarious.
So I haven't listened to the Papa John episode, but I just recently looked at the feed when I was looking at the podcast I listened to make this top 5 list. And there was another episode after that said the media did Papa dirty. So I'll have to listen to those and get back to you guys.
All right, my number 5, the ScruffCast.
Oh, put us on your own list.
Yeah, what's funny though is I put us at 5.
That's fair.
Because there's some legit ones on my list. Not that we're not legit.
What do you mean legit ones? I wish listeners could have seen my face there.
Yeah, you were actually pretty upset by that.
A little bit of heartbreak.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it that way. ScruffCast. What am I even explaining here?
Yeah,
this is literally it.
Yeah.
I'm not going to explain it. ScruffCast. Done.
I'm not going to lie. It's not on my list. Because, it's implied.
At least I put it on my goddamn list. No, you know what? I just don't listen to a lot of podcasts, so I had to put it on.
Dan, you didn't have those listeners know.
Sorry.
My number 4 is a video game podcast, which is probably the topic I listen to the most for podcasts. The Easy Allies podcast. So it's run by this, video game group, if you want to say, called the Easy Allies, like a group of 9 guys who used to work for another company that shut down. Then they started a Patreon, and they're like the biggest video game related Patreon.
Oh wow!
They bring in $50,000 a month,
wow,
which is a lot of money, but not when you have like 9 people, right?
True. Yeah.
And yeah, they just go through the current events of video games, and they take listener questions and stuff. Sort of got that like comedy flair. It's the kind of thing like you listen to, and you're like, "What the hell are they talking about?" If you haven't listened before,
yeah,
these in jokes and stuff. So that's my number 4.
Nice. All right, my number 4 is Star Talk Radio.
This is a great podcast.
Yeah, with Neil deGrasse Tyson. It is a good podcast. Now, I don't know if you do the same, but I do this with just about all my podcasts. I kind of like pick and choose. I don't listen to every single podcast that these people release, especially something like Star Talk, where it's like they usually deal with specific space or science-related kind of topics. Bless you, bless you, bless you. Not a priest, John. Can't keep blessing.
It was the 3 sneezes I did, but sort of back from the mic and kept them silent. Unlike Dan, who blesses himself.
Yeah, you better believe I do.
Which I keep meaning to think, I want to do that, but I always forget.
You should. Yeah, so I usually pick and choose the podcasts I listen to from these people. So anything that interests me, right? I'll be like, okay, this one's talking about dark energy and black holes. Cool, I'm gonna listen to that one, right? But if it's something I don't know, you know what I mean? It's it's got to be more specific to me, then I'll listen to it. I don't listen to every single episode, and I do that with just about all my podcasts. I'll explain the rest kind of after.
I don't really do that. All the podcasts on my list, I'll listen to them all. I listen to them each week because they follow more a certain format, right? So the Easy Allies podcast I just listened to, we'll start off with them, going through the different news stories. Right. Then they, take listener emails and stuff. So it kind of keeps it, especially current event related podcasts. If it's a topical podcast like that, or where they have guests and stuff,
it's different, yeah.
Then you can sort of pick and choose.
And that's kind of I'll explain the rest with them when I reveal the rest of my.
But you know what I find? So there was a podcast I used to listen to. It's not on my list. It was called How I Built This, which was just basically somebody would interview each week. The host would interview each week somebody who founded a business, right, and sort of their entrepreneurial tale. And, some of them are boring, like Spanx, right? Like,
Yeah.
who cares about Spanx? But I would always find I'd listen to those ones that I didn't think would be interesting, and then it'd actually be interesting.
Right.
So I just kind of listened to all of them.
Nice. All right, your number 3.
My number 3 is Knockback. Now, this is a podcast by probably my favorite podcaster out there, Colin Moriarty.
Okay. He's a
and-
video game guy too, right?
Yeah. And he pretty much just does podcasts.
Yeah.
And he does it with his brother. But what's interesting, it's a retro and nostalgia themed podcast. So basically, it's about a different topic each week. So this one, actually, I kind of pick and choose a little bit. So it kind of goes against what I was saying.
Okay.
Because since it's about different topics, I want, they'll do, movie trilogies, right? So it'll be, an episode on the Back to the Future trilogy. So I'm like, well, I want to watch those movies before I listen to the episode.
Yeah.
Right? And they just cover such a wide array of topics. It's always so interesting because they'll do things like media like that, where it's the Dark Knight trilogy. But then they'll do things where it's like the mall, and they'll talk about growing up, hanging out at the mall with your friends. And,
Okay, gotcha.
Take a listen to emails, and they'll talk about childhood homes or just such a wide array of topics, like the video store. So it's got that nostalgia flair, right? And people email in, and it's one of those things where as you listen, you kind of learn more about the hosts, which I don't know, I guess would be anybody, if somebody listens to us, I wonder if they view this the same way, where they'll be like, oh, I remember John told that story one time before or something.
Yeah, I know what you
So
mean.
you sort of, it's like, they say it's like a Moriarty lore podcast, because as you listen more and more, you just learn more about them.
Gotcha.
And the wacky stories, and they're just always shredding their dad, which is funny.
That's pretty funny.
Which I guess is how we have Jaime Tales? Something like that.
Same idea.
Yeah.
All right. My number 3 is the WTF with Mark Maron podcast.
Taryn loves this podcast. She actually went and saw him live. He was in
No
Toronto
way.
last year.
Yeah, he's a comedian, I think, too, right? Now, I just started listening to this guy, recently, and only because a few months ago I saw that Leonardo DiCaprio and Brad Pitt were on it. I love Leonardo DiCaprio, so I was like, oh, I gotta check this out. So I looked through this guy's other podcasts, and he had Obama on his podcast. I was like, holy shit.
Remember
when he was
we had
president.
Obama?
Oh, yeah, right. He had Obama first. And so he had Obama, even during his presidency, and I was like, holy shit, this is crazy, right?
It's a pretty high-profile guest.
Yeah, so then, and the guy seemed very entertaining. He's almost like a little Bill Burr-esque, the way he kind of is.
Really?
Not as, outlandish and crazy, but he's on the same lines, right? And so this is what I mean, right? So he brings on, different celebrities kind of each podcast or whatever, and I kind of just listen to the ones that I'm a little more interested in, right? People I know. Oh, yeah, okay, I'll listen to that one. I'll listen to this one, right? Some people I don't care about, so I don't listen to them, but I listen to one with Ashton Kutcher. And after it, I was like, damn, Ashton Kutcher seems like a pretty cool guy. I like him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't really have any feelings about him before that, but I'm kind of oh, he seems cool,
See,
right?
that's what I was saying before, where it's you think it might not be as interesting, but then you listen to it, and then you're always ah.
Yeah, he had Terry Crews on. I listened to that one. That was a good one, too. So that's a new one I've been listening to, but I really enjoy it.
All right.
All right.
My number 2. This is also by Colin Moriarty. It's called Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast.
Yeah, how many podcasts does the guy have, man?
He's got I don't know, 2 or 3. He used to have more, but well, that's what he does. He has a Patreon set up, and he just does podcasts.
Oh, okay.
But he's good at it. Not as good as the ScruffCast.
Of course not.
So Sacred Symbols, a PlayStation podcast. If you can tell, it's obviously a podcast about PlayStation. Most video game related podcasts sort of run the same way, this is similar to the Easy Allies one, where it's it starts off, they'll go through current news and stuff, right? And this one they'll talk about what games they're currently playing, taking listener questions. And one of the things this podcast does that I love is it takes listener questions at the beginning of the show, that aren't related to video games. It's usually people writing in ridiculous shit, is a Pop-Tart just a ravioli?
Right.
I mentioned one time, because when somebody wrote and said, do crabs think fish are flying? Which I thought, this is one of the best questions I've ever heard in my life. I've never thought about that.
That is funny.
Stuff like that. So, if you like video games, specifically PlayStation, it's definitely worth a listen. It's huge. It's got 50,000 listeners a month.
Jesus.
Wow.
All right. My number 2 is the Monday Morning Podcast. Bill Burr. I don't listen to it as much anymore, but it's still just it's just Bill Burr shooting the shit. I think we talked about his podcast on here a ton. He's just a super entertaining person to listen to, and he's just so good at just talking by himself. It's usually just him on there, and that's it.
And it's kind of hard. I know we make it look so effortless, but podcasting isn't as easy as it seems.
Yeah, I don't think I could ever do it by myself.
Anyone
who
sat in the guest chair can attest to that.
Yeah. just
And
does it by
definitely
himself.
by yourself, it's hard.
Yeah, he does it by himself. But I mean, at the same time, he's got a lot going on in his life, right? And he's like, does a lot of stuff. So
Yeah.
he's got more to talk about. But yeah, I just like him. He's like one of my favorite comedians. And I love his podcast.
Yeah, this one was not on my list because I haven't listened to it in like over a year.
Damn, I thought it was actually going to be your number one.
No.
Wow, okay.
But I used to listen to this all the time. I love this podcast. I would almost say like he sort of inspired us to get into podcasting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. He kind of inspired like how we write the descriptions every week. Jon and Dan talk about blank, and more. It used to be like Bill Burr rambles about, fatties.
The NFL. And more. Yeah.
See, that's exactly what we talk about all the time.
Something always but the NFL.
Yeah.
Honorable mention.
My honorable mention. This is an honorable mention because sadly this podcast is retired now. Doesn't go anymore. But the TSN Hockey Bobcast with Bob McKenzie.
Oh, right.
Now, Bob McKenzie, for listeners who don't know, is, the TSN, which is like the sports network here, hockey insider. He's like the hockey insider, right? He's like the guy.
I'd say the national hockey insider.
He's like a Canadian treasure.
Yeah, he is.
He is. So, what's funny is when you watch on TV, right, like in between...
I just realized I'm like screwing around with the mic stand here. It's probably echoing all through this mic. Sorry, everyone.
Well, listeners, email into ScruffCast@gmail.com. Let us know. So when you watch TV, you see the analysts on TV and they're all, I don't want to say prim and proper, but, they're in a professional setting, right?
Yeah.
They're all, going about things as you would expect on TV. But when you listen to the podcast, it's pretty much just like TSN just sort of gave him free reign. It's just him talking into a mic.
Yeah.
Talking into a mic. Jeez. And people would email him questions, right, about hockey, like, oh, what about this? What about that? One of the things he did that was interesting is, like, somebody would write in and be like, oh, which team has a better defense that you'd want if you were going for a playoff run?
Right.
The Leafs or the Montreal Canadiens. Mm-hmm. So then what he would do, because he's so connected in the industry, he would ask different coaches around the league and general managers and stuff, get their candid responses, because he's such a trusted source that, he'd keep them all anonymous. And then he would actually read the response on the podcast.
That's cool.
But what was also funny was, in a twist from seeing him in the professional setting and stuff, he'd just talk about random shit, like, going to the cottage and stuff. And every episode
Bobby Margarita.
Which is him in the off season, was a different edition. So he'd be like, oh, welcome to the TSN Hockey Bobcast, turn down the fucking volume edition. Because he was telling a story about how he was like in Washington for a hockey game and like the people in the lobby were too loud and he phoned down. He's like, tell him to shut up. It was funny because you watch on TV and he's like, he's just a hockey guy.
Yeah, exactly. You get a little more personality on the podcast.
So he's older now, so he's kind of like slowed down. And sadly, he just retired the podcast. This
wow.
year.
He didn't do it for that long.
I think he had 3 seasons because he would only do it during the hockey season.
Yeah. Interesting. Mine's actually, my honorable mention is along the same lines. It's the Overdrive, TSN Overdrive, which TSN Overdrive is actually a radio show. It's the 4 to 7 p.m. slot. And it's Brian Hayes, Jeff O'Neill, and Jamie McLennan, and it is so funny. So I used to listen to it. I used to get off work all the time at 4. I'd listen to the first hour on my drive home, and it's so good. So now what they do is they podcast it. They break up the 3 separate hours, and they put it out as podcasts. So technically it counts as a podcast, but I still listen to it. Any chance I get, I try to listen to it in the car or wherever, right? Because they're so funny and it's just awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's just so much to keep up with. They'll cut out interesting clips and put them on their YouTube channel. Yeah. So that's usually what I'll watch. Because otherwise, 3 hours every day, right?
Yeah.
I mean, 3 hours worth of content, some of it's going to be, kind of like me.
Yeah, it's going to be whatever, right?
Right, but you're not going to know which parts to sift through. Right?
No.
So it's a lot to work through. That's a good choice.
Yeah.
All right. My number 1, unsurprisingly, is another video game podcast.
Oh, of course.
It's called Frame Trap. And it's by Easy Allies, the same guys who did the number 4 podcast.
Okay.
And what I love about this podcast, it's just, a couple of guys. So it's one specific, one of the 9 Easy Allies hosts a podcast. And then he has 2 other ones on each week, different ones. It's actually bi-weekly, every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Because the podcast is literally 3+ hours long.
Jesus.
And it's just them sitting around, just talking about the games they've been playing recently. And just talking about video games, just loving video games.
It's just a general chat about video games.
Right? So they'll go through and they'll be like, Dan, you've been playing this game, tell me about that. And then you just talk about the game for 25 minutes. They just go back and forth asking questions.
Right.
And it's perfect because, I really love video games, but I don't have, any close friends that like them or play them as much
as
you
in
depth
do.
as I do.
Yeah.
So this is the perfect way. I just listen to these guys talk about video games in depth, and they just go into all the nitty gritty details.
Yeah.
Some nerdy shit. But what I love is that it's like just ridiculously long.
Yeah.
Like, I think the longest episode was like 3 hours, 55 minutes.
Jesus, that's insane.
Like, if it's under 2 hours, I'm like, damn, I got ripped off this 2 weeks. And that's like a long time to like talk.
That's your
That's
whole
like
week you're listening to that.
4 hours, that's like half of a work day.
Yeah.
That's like almost my whole work day.
Well, yeah, definitely
How
your work
long
day.
I'm in the office. But
All right. My number one, speaking of 3-hour podcasts, the Joe Rogan Experience.
this is a good one.
My number one. Now, again, I sift through and I find the ones I want to listen to, but I find he has such informative people on there. Like, he just has, like, everyone from, like, comedians. He has, like, stand-up comedians to, like, physicists. Like, he's had Neil deGrasse Tyson on there.
Yeah.
He has doctors on there. He has, like, all these different people, right? It's like, he's one of the bigger podcasts out there. I think he might be the biggest one.
Dude, he might be like, I think it's millions of listeners.
Yeah.
Like, if you were like the media always like shitting all over him because they know he's like bigger than them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's I guess he has a lot of
Huge.
influence, but he's my favorite. Like, he had like Edward Snowden on there, which was like just
I still haven't listened to that one.
it's so good. It's fantastic. He had Robert Downey Jr. not that long ago. Elon Musk. Listen to the ones with Neil deGrasse Tyson.
He had Bernie Sanders on there.
Bernie Sanders. He's had Bill Burr on a few times. Kevin Hart. Like,
What's interesting is his podcast is so big that like the other politicians like running for president, like on the Democratic side, actually reached out to be on his podcast.
Yeah.
And he told most of them like, nah. But he liked Bernie Sanders, so he's like, yeah, sure.
I want to see what this guy has to
Bernie
say.
Sanders.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and I think he had Tulsi Gabbard was another person running for president.
Yeah,
And
like,
then Andrew Yang.
the thing is with Joe Rogan too, he's a really smart guy. But he's also smart enough to know he's not the smartest person in the room.
Yeah, he
You
has
know what I
these
mean?
interesting guests. You want to let them talk.
Exactly. It's not all about him. He's not like super egotistical like that, right? It's all about his guests, but like some of the questions he asks are like fantastic, right? Like really good. So, and he'll like argue with his guests too.
That's the
Listen,
key
he had
too,
Bill Maher
right?
on there too, and Bill Maher said something. He's like, "What?" He's like, "No, that doesn't make any sense." Like whatever, right? He'll just like,
Because if you just agree with everything the guests say, then it's not exciting. Right? You
Yeah,
just let them talk
exactly.
about whatever they want.
yeah,
I mean, I know we already run a podcast, but it's like that would be my dream sort of podcast to run.
just like a debate podcast.
No, where you just have like interesting guests.
Oh,
each
yeah.
week.
Oh, my God, of course.
It would just must like. I mean, obviously we love doing the podcast. I look forward to it every time. But he must just get so excited. He's like, dude, I get to talk to Robert Downey
for
Jr.
sure,
today,
yeah.
right?
And he's got like no notes, nothing. Everything's
they
like
just
off
go.
the top of his head, yeah, and just like go, they just have a conversation, and yeah, those like can get up to like 3 hours sometimes. His podcast.
Yeah, just sitting there talking. Like that'd
Really
be
good.
that'd be like my dream podcast to run.
yeah.
You just get to talk to interesting people
Absolutely,
each
yeah.
week. I think he does like 2 episodes a week.
Joe Rogan,
yeah.
3 or 4 sometimes. Like he puts
Well,
out a lot.
That's kind of like his main gig, right?
Yeah, it kind of is
Because
now.
when you have as many listeners as he does, your ad revenue is probably just enough to live off of.
Outrageous,
I
yeah.
mean, like Joe Rogan already has money, obviously. But
Yeah, so that's my number one, Joe Rogan.
that's a good choice. It didn't make my list particularly because I haven't really listened to too many episodes.
Yeah.
I've maybe listened to like 4 or 5 because they are so long.
Yeah.
But that's a really good one.
All right. That was a top 5 podcast. Let us know what your top 5 are.
Yeah, and you don't even need to put us on the list. We'll assume we're there. We won't be insulted.
Yeah. We'll be the 1A. You can put 1B on there if you
Yeah.
want. All right. Anything else you want to add, John?
You guys got to email us at scruffcast@gmail.com. Let us know, who wants to get downright freaky. Are we meeting your expectations?
Are we getting freaky enough? Now, I know damn well we'll never be freaky enough for some people to listen to this.
No, some people, they like it freaky.
Freaky.
But for those of you normies out there,
A little
we just-
more vanilla.
are we just
folk.
the right level of freaky for you? Let us know.
Yeah, next week we're going to do something a little different. Probably won't be suitable for your commute to work.
Probably not. But hey, we're getting freaky.
We're getting freaky with the podcast. All right.
That was a little too freaky.
That was a little too freaky. Okay, well, we'll tone back the freak. All right, that was episode 88 of the ScruffCast. Thanks for listening, everybody, and we'll catch you next week.
Distracting, got me like, oh, as I'm watching her go. All I'm thinking is, oh, damn, that bad thing. I can tell you're really good at distracting.
Oh
thing.
yeah.
What are those called?